Does Dying Light 2's tower raid live up to the expectations, or is it just forgettable update? Let's find out. At first glance, the tower raid mode looks promising. The interiors have a unique design that sets them apart from the main game. There are new zombie models, like office workers and nurses, which help give each floor a bit more personality. But beyond the visuals, does it actually change the gameplay enough to feel fresh? Not really. While the setup of fighting through multiple floors sounds exciting, the reality is that the gameplay loop doesn't feel significantly different from what Dying Light 2 has already offered. One of the biggest letdowns is the lack of meaningful exploration. Players are encouraged to move quickly through the floors, but there's no real incentive to explore side rooms or hidden areas. Unlike other roguelike experiences where risk and reward go hand in hand, here it feels pointless. Sure, there are areas where you can climb into the ceiling and hide, but they don't offer much beyond a temporary escape from zombies. While Tower Raid is supposed to be a roguelike inspired mode, the level variety is seriously lacking. Despite featuring different floor layouts, many of them feel too similar, either offices or hospitals. Some levels feel copy-pasted with slightly different enemy placements. This is a missed opportunity. Imagine floors designed as grotesque, volatile hives, or flooded areas where players need to carefully parkour to avoid electrocution. Instead, most of the floors blend together, making each run feel too familiar. One of the biggest selling points of Dying Light 2 is co-op gameplay. But even years after launch, co-op still feels unstable and immersion-breaking. While the Tower Raid mode is clearly meant to be played with friends, technical issues make it hard to fully enjoy. Compared to the prison heist from the first game, this mode lacks the same level of polish and excitement. The final battle on the rooftop is supposed to be the climax of the Tower Raid. Unfortunately, it's underwhelming. The fight drags on for about 5 minutes, and it's way too easy to cheese. Throw down a few flares, and that's it. The battle feels more like an endurance test than an actual thrilling finale. This is another area where Tower Raid had potential, but didn't deliver. The rooftop could have had unique mechanics, environmental hazards, or enemy waves that force players to adapt. Instead, it's just a drawn-out fight that doesn't feel rewarding. To keep things interesting, Tower Raid introduces modifiers that change the gameplay experience. Some modifiers make the game harder, while others make it easier. The problem? There's no real balance. Sometimes, players can get extremely lucky and receive buffs that let them steamroll through the entire tower. Other times, negative modifiers can make the game frustrating instead of challenging. Instead of creative modifiers that force players to adapt, most are just simple stat changes like enemies do more damage. A better system would have introduced modifiers that actually change the way players approach each floor. For example, imagine a floor where visibility is reduced, or one where stamina regenerates slower, forcing a more strategic approach. Instead, the modifiers feel like an afterthought. After fighting through multiple floors and completing the final battle, what do players get? An exotic weapon and some crafting materials. That's it. Considering how much effort goes into completing a tower raid, the rewards feel incredibly underwhelming. Exotic weapons are already common in the game, and the crafting materials aren't anything special. The game needed unique loot, perhaps rare weapon variations, powerful blueprints, or even special items like XP boosting potions. Instead, the rewards feel like an afterthought. There are so many ways Tower Raid could have been better. More diverse environments, better enemy variety, improved co-op stability, and more creative modifiers could have made this an essential part of Dying Light 2's endgame. Instead, it feels like an experimental mode that hasn't fully realized its potential. So, is Tower Raid worth playing? If you're a hardcore Dying Light 2 fan who enjoys grinding through content, you might find some enjoyment here. But for most players, the experience is underwhelming. The repetitive level design, lack of meaningful exploration, frustrating co-op issues, and disappointing rewards make it hard to recommend. The good news is that this is still an open beta, and Techland has time to make adjustments before its full release. Hopefully, they take the feedback seriously and improve the experience. But for now, Tower Raid feels like a mode that had potential, but ultimately falls flat. If you're interested in more zombie action, then you'll definitely want to check out Dead Island 2. It takes a different approach to the genre with its over-the-top combat, unique setting, and plenty of gruesome zombie-slaying fun. If you want to know whether it's worth playing, be sure to watch the full review by clicking the link on the screen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.